Andy White, thank you for jumping on the Noah Jones Show. How you been? Carnage, before we talk with you in the past week.
Oh, do you want to talk about the carnage?
Well, do you want to?
I don't mind.
Well, a little bit of just a quick little summary of your last week. You've been absolutely under the pump with all the. Do you want to talk?
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
Well, school holidays, but under the pump in the school holidays. Last week we had the tornado and we had the terrible weather here. I don't know if you experienced the same weather.
Yes.
Are you all right there?
Yeah, I know. This mic is it's a bit sneaky. He jumps up and he doesn't like to stay.
He's not staying.
He will stay eventually, but continue. I'll hold it until it stays.
You should have done some WD-40. You don't know what WD-40 is, do you?
Is it a cleaning?
It's something that we would use in England to do things like that.
Yeah, we'll certainly need that for next time. It'll stay. But you've had a tornado.
We've had a tornado, mini tornado run through the street, and it got a few tiles, and... Do you want to start again?
Yeah, maybe. So, Andy, just summarise the past week and what's been going on.
Well, school holidays to start it off with, home with my kids, and mini tornado runs through the house.
You don't get that down here. That's unbelievable.
Well,
tiles falling off.
Turns out we do.
Yeah.
We got a mini tornado going through the house, and then later midweek, all my personal social media stuff taken.
Completely gone.
Well, I'm in the process of maybe getting that back. And then last night we found out my 3 bank accounts were hacked from the Facebook ads of the social media.
We were just talking about how easy it is for them to just hack from overseas. You wake up one day and you're completely just no control over your accounts whatsoever.
It's quite scary, isn't it? Yeah.
Anyway, well, thanks for jumping on. You're a podcaster yourself.
I am.
Leading Our Own Way. In fact, gave us a mug for the camera. Leading Our Own Way podcast. Top 10.
Percent. That could be like the 300,000th.
But top 10% is highly, highly remarkable. And thank you for giving us this, because we'll certainly go into this podcast and what you've been able to achieve. But for you, Andy, beyond the title and beyond the podcast, who are you as a person? What would you describe yourself as?
Well, that's a good question. I've never been asked to describe myself before. I'm just a guy that loves to live life as best as I possibly can in the most fun way, I guess. You know, I've always wanted to. I've always had things to tick off. And not even in the sense of a bucket list, but I just always wanted to travel the world and do it in a fun way. I've always wanted to chase the things I've wanted to enjoy doing, in whether it was relationships, whether it's work-wise. I left my home country to become a teacher over here after my basketball kind of life had slowed down and got old. And, you know, I'm not that tall, so that did become a factor back in the day. Not so much now. I wish I'd played now, but so I moved to the side of the world to become a teacher, so I left everything behind to do that. And I just wanted to do everything I'm a connection guy. Love to talk. And then that's the stimulus of why the podcast started, really. I just love to talk and meet new people and get along with everybody.
Yeah, and we go back to England and you growing up as a kid. Can you talk about what life was like over there?
Yeah, I had a great childhood, to be fair. You know, I didn't meet my dad till 8 or 9. You know, there could be something lay there that I've not really addressed, maybe. I grew up with my mum and my grandma in the same house. My mum went to work, did the typical old traditional of the dad role. Back then, I know that's not the same anymore. My mum went to work and worked her absolute bottom off. Can I swear on here? I don't know.
You can. Yeah.
Her ass off for us, you know, and we lived with my gran, and my gran took me to school, did all the mum things, made my dinners and teas and breakfasts, and she was a beautiful person. But, I do remember my gran being quite negative at times and, you know, a little bit more on the angry side. I had a good childhood. I enjoyed my experiences. I enjoyed school a little bit. I remember getting bullied in primary school, but, you know, you move on, and I don't think that really changed my life. So, you know, and then basketball kind of gave me my purpose. I started playing basketball at the age of 9, 10 years old, and it took me off the streets, so to say. And I was at basketball every day.
So how did you get into that?
Oh, I had an American coach come in to the primary school, a guy called Jeff Jones. I can name him, and I still know him today. I've not spoken to him in a long time, but Jeff came in, this American dude, tall, with the American accent, and I was like, this is cool. Yeah, I want to play some basketball. And
did you know much about basketball?
No, he did the clinic, and my mate started to play, and I actually didn't go on with that clinic to the team, and then went into high school. We started high school at 11 in England, and 4 weeks in, my friend said they needed a bit of a fill-in for 6 weeks, and I said to Mum, can I play for 6 weeks? never stopped. Just stayed playing basketball. Even still to this day, I've never stopped. And it kind of took me around the world. You know, I was able to go to the States to the All-Star game, won a trip to New York to watch the NBA games.
That's crazy. Who do you go for?
Well, growing up, I was just a Michael Jordan fan.
Yeah.
I thought I was a Bulls fan, but since he retired, I obviously didn't really follow the Bulls. So it turns out I was probably just more of a Michael Jordan fan. And I spent all my 18th birthday money in 2001 to go and watch him play at the Garden. And I just remember having tears, like all the the documentaries, and you could see kids crying. That was me. And I was on the sideline just watching him and in tears. And I just loved the way he played. I loved what he stood for as a man and a role model. And he was amazing.
Yeah.
And I just followed the game through him and played the game like him, even though I'm only 5'11".
Would you say the game of basketball's evolved? Because I watch basketball but I'm not fully in on it.
Yeah.
I'm more like a cricket and a footy person, but I do watch some basketball. And those two sports have evolved. Would you say basketball has?
Definitely. I mean, I think Steph Curry's definitely changed the game in the way he. One, he's small, but he was all the talk he was never going to make it, was it, because of his height and because of his body build. But look what he's done.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky enough, I played with his teammate at Davidson. And he's actually appeared on Leading Our Own Way.
Yes.
So
you were mentioning that you've interviewed him or going to.
Yeah, no, I've done that.
Already done.
I'm interviewing Alan Stein Jr., Steph Curry's performance coach. I'm going to be I'm interviewing him in April.
Oh, very good.
So it's going to be a while yet. He's such a busy guy.
Yes.
So I tried to get him on the podcast. But he's agreed.
In advance.
So
well, that's good. That's a good start. That's a very... I'll take it for sure. But I was hearing yesterday that I found out that the LA Clippers stadium has been taken by this Meta... the owner of Microsoft. And I don't know if you've heard about the stadium, but you have to, talking about the evolution of stadiums and all this technological stuff, you go into the stadium, you download the app. Have you heard of this? You download the stadium app and you walk in, and everything that you do in this stadium, whether you pay for merch or food, goes onto your card in the app.
They do it in Melbourne.
Do they?
Yeah, they don't do an app though. You walk in and you just put a deposit on it, and whatever you buy out at the cafeteria or wherever you are, it scans it as you go in. And then as you go out, and it'll give the change back. So let's say it's a $20 deposit and you've paid $17, $3 will go back on your card.
Oh,
at one of the stadiums in Melbourne.
That's
I forgot
crazy.
which one it is, but
yeah. Well, I think it was like a $2 billion project to make the stadium. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but
it's kind of scary.
It's
Imagine
scary.
the hacking on that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You've been hacked all day, and then yet you've got stadiums that you can walk in. It's horrible. But you came to back to the topic. You came to Australia. Is this to talk and play for basketball? And
so I was part of the Eltham Wildcats club in Australia, which is about 40 minutes north of Melbourne. And so I was doing my whole backpacking. We was part of the club there, and then I went home, taught in a high school for a few years, and the only way back into Australia was to become a student. So I couldn't get on the teaching course in the UK. Passionate about teaching. That came from coaching basketball as such a young, as a teenager. Wanted to be around kids, wanted to coach them, and how could I do that? I didn't really want to be a sports development officer, or I was coaching basketball in England, ended up coaching the men, and I quit coaching the men to come to study here in Australia, and I was doing really well. And I look at some of the coaches now that were in a way behind me at the time. They're coaching professional basketball in the UK. So I probably would have gone in that direction if I'd stayed, but the career I was really chasing to become a teacher, and I paid $25,000, £15,000 to become an international student here, and then it kind of just came from there. And I was back involved with Eltham Wildcats as the assistant coach for the men.
Yes.
So I was back involved in the club 4 years later, where I was 4 years before, and I was the coach. And it was a great experience. I learned a lot from the head coach. The players are way better than me. They're bigger than me for one, but they were incredible. And we made it to the state finals, but lost to Ringwood in the final.
When you were a kid, did you always want to be a basketballer? Was that your dream goal?
When I started,
And then you decided you want to be a teacher.
I think coaching kids was where that stemmed from.
Yeah.
People put me off becoming a teacher straight from university. People's like, don't do this, don't do that because of this. I was like, yeah, and I listened, and I probably stepped away, became a financial advisor in the UK before traveling, all this money off. I earned pretty good money, but I was getting it from people in their debt. I just didn't feel right after a while. So I used the money that I did earn to go travel in the world, borrowed a bit from my mum, and which I'm very grateful for, and then went home and pursued the teaching because it came back to me. And I thought, no, that's really, the calling just kind of was in my head. And but it turns out, as we get into it, what people were saying to me was probably right.
Yes, we will. Well, shall we get into it now?
Sure.
Well, let's talk about the course firstly. When you did it, was it an enjoyable course?
The teaching course?
Yeah.
It was just another
another
means
course.
to get it done, right? You know, I didn't learn anything about the kids. I already knew. But then when you start teaching, it's like driving, is it? You really only start to learn how to drive when you're on the roads on your own. The rest is. But, you know, the course was fine. It was just another tick box to get the qualification.
Yeah, so you get the qualification, then you become a teacher. Mm-hmm. Initial...
yeah, well, I've been teaching high school in the UK, and all of a sudden I was teaching prep. Right. So from 17-year-olds
to
5.
Screaming kids.
Yeah. So that was a shock to the system, for sure.
How do you handle them? What was your mindset going? You've been handed a prep
Yeah,
role.
well, so it's funny because I was actually handed the 3-4 class initially, and I was really excited about that. And then I was volunteering at the school that was sponsoring me to stay in Australia, so I had to go through all the paperwork to convince. You know, they wanted to sponsor me. I wanted them to sponsor me. The principal was amazing, and he wanted me at his school. And I was volunteering, and he pulled me in on one of the volunteering days and said, "Look, I'm not actually giving you the 3-4." And I said, "It's prep, isn't it?" And he went, yeah. He said, "Look, you'll be a movie star. You'll be a rock star." I was like, I don't want to be a rock star. I don't want. So, but because I admired him and he was giving me the opportunity, I did it. Right. And I did it for 2 years. And he promised me after a year, I'll give you the class that I want. And then at the end of that year, he kind of convinced me to do another year. Oh. And look, that was, and there's probably some deep of reason why that changed. I didn't realize that for years later, and this will become clear, I'm sure, if we go down that route, because I entered a very toxic workplace bullying scenario, and that became crystal clear probably why. Now I can't prove some of the things I might say, but it was just my side of the story. And so the second year of my teaching career, I won the National Teacher of the Year award.
Whoa.
Matt Pradke presented the award to me, the former NBA, NBL player.
That's a big deal.
I mean, I didn't know it was going to happen. It was a big deal, but it was really the stem of where it went wrong for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I honour it now on the studio of Leading Our Own Way. It's the plaque at the back of down at the side, but I put it away under the shelf for a very long time because within months I found myself in a toxic workplace. Well, I think there's two different things between toxic workplaces and bullying. This person was out to get me.
Really?
So it seems.
So you did. This was after you got the award at the end of the second year of prep.
Yeah, September 14.
Yep.
And then we started the new academic year with somebody I thought I got along with. Really excited to be part of that team. I got the class I wanted, the 5/6s, and within weeks things just didn't seem right.
So what happened in those weeks?
You know, it's quite, when trauma hits. And it was traumatic for me because coming from England, I wanted to be friends with everybody. With my personality type, my ability to connect. I think that's probably why I won the award. I wasn't the best teacher. I learned a lot from the girls I was with. I was in a team of 4 girls and me. I learned pieces from them and put into my own. I learned pieces from coaching, Michael, all of those, and integrated it into put my own little mayonnaise on those spin, on my teaching philosophy. And so I definitely can't claim I was the best teacher. But my ability to connect, I think, was there. And I think that's probably why the parents nominated me for the award. And I got along with the community. I got along with people. But looking back, I probably tried too hard because I was looking for identity in Australia. And when I won the award, and they made it a big deal. And obviously, I was actually really embarrassed. It was really embarrassing. In a good way.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's like somebody singing happy birthday to you.
Yeah, that's true. All the attention's on you.
Yeah.
You don't know how to react.
Yeah, I didn't know how to react. Matt Bradke's there, and I didn't even know who Matt Bradke was because I'm English. All the Aussies know who he is, but I didn't know us as a basketball player. And so going into that new year, and I don't think it was necessarily intentional at first on their part, but we'd always had laughs in the staff room, and it was, I thought I was really excited to be with that person, and it just started to be quite negative, and it just didn't feel right. So going back to what we're saying about the trauma, if I was to go through every single scenario, I would be here all day, and I don't remember half of it because I've blocked it out. But it was incidental things like meetings made up that I didn't know were happening. And I'd be shouted to come to the meeting. Why are you not coming? And I didn't know about I didn't even know about it. I didn't get the memo or the email. But these things, when you look like, I didn't know about it, you look like the arsehole. You look defensive. You look like the odd one out, right? And it was those type of things. I would come up with an idea. They would block it down. But then in a meeting, the idea was presented.
And it was deliberately not sent to you.
Well, I don't know. I can't prove it. Those
Yeah.
are the things I can't necessarily prove. But
That's hard.
It was a catch-22. So me being me, I'm not a guy I'm quite an emotional dude. So I would vent to people, but they would block that. Not again being malicious, just like they didn't see it, and that's fine, because if I go into their mind, I can understand why. Oh, Andy, I just don't think you get along with that person. I was 32 at the time. I've not got along with a lot of people, and I think that's human nature. Some people we vibe with, some people we don't, and that's okay. But we still have to be kind and respectful. We still have to coexist if we're working with them.
Definitely.
We want to come to work ready to work. If not, definitely be happy, but not count the minutes, not wanting to arrive, not throwing up before work, where it came to for me, and not becoming suicidal from it, because it got to a point where I was physically pushed, assaulted in front of my children and in front of the people that I'd gone to for support.
Wow.
And that person then also went on their own mental health journey, because they realised, shit,
I've done the wrong thing.
it wasn't wrong. They just didn't see it.
Right.
So that person, I think, was devastated that she wasn't there and didn't understand the severity of it, because when she saw that push and the papers, I had mass papers shoved into my shoulders, she went on her own journey. It was like, Andy was coming to me for all those months, and I wasn't there to listen, I wasn't there to support, because she had a great relationship with that person. That's fine.
It's a hard position to be in.
It was a catch-22, and other people who my friends, not lost, but they probably didn't know where to lie, so they sat on the fence and didn't know what to do. So when the truth eventually came out, I went on a paranoia journey and an anxiety journey, because I thought because it turned out to be a they. And there's a part of the journey that is detrimental to somebody else. It's really hard to share that part, but I was accused of saying something that I didn't about the principal, and that really affected him. But I think they tried to put the nail in the coffin, and it just wasn't the case. And I obviously proved it, and I could prove it, and it was not a problem. But I went on a bit. They lost their positions. One of them walked out because they didn't have an answer. So it was crystal clear. They were guilty, and then I had to live with paranoia and anxiety for the next 3 or 4 years. Going to bed 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because I didn't want the next day to arrive. Wow. I was eating rubbish all the way through. I had my child in that time. I thought that was a fix. I thought that would fix me, because I didn't have my dad growing up. I didn't have that father. I have a great relationship with my dad now. I'm not saying we stay in contact all the time. Every other week, every few, maybe other month, we'll speak, and we, we'll see him when I'm at home. But it was never that. I don't want him to listen to this and feel whatever, sad about it, but I didn't have a dad growing up. That's fact. And it, maybe there's abandonment issues there, but again, he's not necessarily guilty for that. I'm just saying that plays a part in your future, doesn't it? And I think that's where I was, though those things were coming out, I wanted to be a dad, but I didn't know how to be a dad. I didn't know how to be present. With myself. So how could I be present with my son? I would hand this baby back to my partner. I wasn't a very good partner to my partner, and I was probably still suffering from the past. And we built the house on this side of the bay, something to look forward to. Again, wasn't going to fix it. I didn't know that, though. I thought I would fix it. Bought a new fancy, bought my car. Really enjoyed my car. I don't need that car. I liked it at the time, and it was fancy to me anyway. And then I got my dream job. Yeah. I opened a school from scratch for a very, very, very wealthy family. It was a beautiful journey. I was honoured to be picked, but I entered another toxic environment. Now, this is the difference. Not a bullying scenario, just a toxic relationship scenario. And some people go, you're the common denominator here.
Oh, no.
And I can see why people didn't think that, but all of us left from that place, and
really?
year after year since, people have left too. And my body started to speak to me, because I was, again, not suicidal, but I dreaded going to work every day.
Again, for a second time.
For years. For years, I dreaded going to school. Even though when the issue was over, I dreaded going to work.
How often, or how common would you say in schools would this actually occur, where your environment is toxic?
Well, I it's funny, because I wrote a leadership book after leaving that second place, and I can only speak for education, but with everyone I've interviewed, with everyone, with my observational evidence, with being around people and people coming towards me with the podcast, it's everywhere. And I'm not just saying education, so I don't want to just pick on the education system. I'm going to say everywhere. I think it could be somebody who's connected to you who's going through something, but they're putting masks on. Right. Every day. I put a mask on. No, if everyone was listening to this, they would think Andy White was still Andy White. But deep down, I was not Andy White. I wasn't that loud, Andy, confident, outgoing. Now, a difference between arrogant, because I would never put anybody else down. I would never stand on anyone's shoes to get where I wanted to go. I just wanted to enjoy my day, be friends. Because people used to say, I don't come to work to be friends. I go, why not? I started to believe in that. But I even back now, I'm like, why not? Why would we not spend and care for the people that we are with 8 hours a day that we spend more than our loved ones with? Why can we not be friends? We don't have to go to dinner and drinks every single night. Or go on a date. Or go be best mates and hug and go and watch football every week. Why can't we be friends at work? You know, that's sad. And I think it's everywhere, to answer your question.
Do you think these environments come down to like the leadership of the schools or the company, or does it come down to the employees and their mindset?
I think it's a combination of everything. Definitely leadership from the top down, but I wrote a book called How to Lead with Purpose, and now with everything that I've learned about the brain and human physiology and understanding our cells and mental health in terms of sleep, in terms of food, in terms of movement and exercise, I do believe it's... I wish no, it's not that I wish. I'd go back and write a book with how to live with purpose. Because if you're not living with purpose, how can you lead with purpose? So toxic environments come down to a combination of everything. If the leader isn't living with purpose and coming to work with purpose, to lead with purpose, then it's going to stem right down to the people. But then you could have the most inspirational leader. If something's missing internally from the employee and something's going on for them,
can't fix it. Really.
It's really well. We can always fix it. I do believe we can fix it, but it's about them hearing them and understanding and building connection with that person and being there for them. You know, if somebody's late every single day to work and they're straight away, what would you say? It's typical. They're lazy. They've got a bad routine. But if that person was to turn around to you and say, I almost ended my life last night, you wouldn't care one bit if they were late again. You'd be there for them. It would be completely different.
And I guess it's it's not common where people actually ask, oh, why were you late? Or if you do, people won't give an honest answer, you know?
But even when you ask, why are you late? They're going to be nervous, intimidated. They might be ashamed of what they're going through. They're going to go, oh, the traffic was bad. I couldn't find my car keys. That can happen. And they probably, it's about building connection. We treat connection as a practice. It ain't a practice. It's a foundation. It's a tick box in the workplace. In all workplaces, well-being is now all part of the policies and models. Why is it part of a policy? Why is it not in our human nature? We have to put human nature down on a piece of paper as a policy now. That for me is quite frustrating and alarming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It should just come naturally.
It should come naturally, but it's not. Well-being starts from the point you wake up to the point you wake up.
Yeah. With these environments in the education system, it would definitely have an effect on the kids. Would you agree? Or is
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think so. I don't necessarily think in a conscious level. Yeah. I think if you're in front of a bunch of kids and you're not present and you're not there, and you're something sad, chronic stress is internally, you're going through it. It'll seep through eventually. It's like if you go into a meeting and you're happy and the boss is stressed because of whatever's going on in their workplace, cortisol comes from the body and seeps out. If I'm stressed now, my cortisol's going onto you, and you'll feel stressed. You'll feel stressed. You won't maybe go. You'll wonder why. You won't go straight. Oh, the cortisol's come onto me from that guy. I'm stressed. It'll just be something. Trying to make a bit of humor out of that. But you would feel it absolutely. And so people will walk out. You could throw lollies and sweets at people, part of a well-being check for meeting to make them laugh and smile. But if that meeting isn't necessarily a productive or positive meeting, everyone's still going to walk out stressed, regardless of the sugar hit that they got, part of that well-being tick box.
Oh, interesting.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So,
Yeah. Well, so when someone's in a toxic environment, or if they're like new to a career or new to education or whatever, and like yourself, when you were in that situation where, because you weren't expecting it, all this to happen at all.
No, not at all.
What were the early warning signs or
Emails.
things people can take? Emails.
I didn't notice it. My partner noticed some words in emails, and I thought it was banter. But because I like to banter.
Yes, you do.
right? So I thought it was banter.
Yeah.
I thought they were on my level. And she actually said, oh, I went, no, I actually got frustrated with it. Like, no, it's just banter, relax. Like, we're just having a laugh. You don't understand the relationship. No, it was me who didn't understand the relationship.
They were dead set serious.
Well, it was just banter, though.
Yeah.
It came across as banter. It wasn't argumentative. It was be more, oh, you probably, I can't even remember if I'm being honest, but I just remember being banter because that's how I would banter. But my purity of the banter is pure. Theirs obviously wasn't. Maybe they weren't living with purpose. Maybe there was something going on in their life. Maybe they needed to fill in some holes. Maybe they were insecure. Maybe they didn't feel that they could connect on the level that I could. I don't know. I'm just trying to pinpoint it. I don't have the answers. I still don't. I never will. Unless they sat with me right here and gave me an open answer. Maybe it was me. Maybe I was an arsehole. But you don't have to hurt me to say you're an arsehole.
Yeah.
You can talk to me and I'll go, fuck, shit, I'm sorry. I didn't realise I was doing that to you. Right.
So what moment exactly was it when you're like, this has to change? Was it the first toxic environment or the second? It's like that was like a real wake up call.
Almost deaf.
Yep.
So 6 weeks after leaving the school that I was part of, the beautiful journey I was part of, my body started to. Have you ever read the book The Body Keeps the Score? I can't pronounce the author's name. It's a very famous book, and I'm halfway through it. But my body kept the score. 6 weeks after leaving the school, I was 6 weeks. I remember having that. I had a great day, and I had a series of what I thought was anxiety attacks. I put it down to anxiety attacks. My body recovering, my body going through all of this physiological change, stress, chronic stress, not acute stress, not good stress, because there's plenty of good stress. I put my body through good stress now to be able to handle the harder situations. But 6 weeks later, I was rushed into hospital. My doctor thought could have been a heart attack or whatever. He wanted to do scans because I was sweating. I was in a lot of pain. I needed to have cold showers to calm myself down. And I used to look at people with panic attacks or anxiety as weak. But man, it's real. It is so real. And my body had obviously got to a point where it couldn't handle it anymore, and it was letting me know. And they rushed me into hospital. They cleared the heart. Nothing wrong with the heart, so they sent me home. I had more scans. My friend was a doctor. He was a Manchester United fan, so we got along. He used to live in Scotland, go to Manchester United games all the time, so he became a good friend. And we said, let's get some emergency scans. I went in. I was going for the scans the Friday morning. This was the Thursday. I woke up. I didn't get out of bed till midday. The scans were at 11. I couldn't move. My partner, it was all dark in the room, so my partner couldn't see it. She turned everything on. She said, go and have a shower, refresh yourself, ready for the scans. I was pure orange. She turned the light on. I was pure orange. She said, you're jaundice. I didn't even know what that word was.
No,
basically, you're orange. Your skin is orange, and it happens quite a lot. It could happen in babies, and it can happen in humans. Adults, obviously, it was happening to me. But septic shock had set in. I was 30. I rushed into hospital. I was 30 minutes away from dying, and that was the change. Because when the pain change often occurs when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of making a change. So those toxic environments before, they were traumatic, absolutely, but it wasn't enough to make a change. I would thought those hits, buying a car, having my child, building a new house, getting my dream job, eating lollies and shit all night, I thought that was going to help me. Look, I didn't turn to drugs or alcohol like some people do, but it's the same physiological response.
Yep.
It's still an addiction in a way. Gambling, they're all it's all if we was to scan the bodies of doing all those things, it's the same physiological response inside and the impacts of the brain. It's just different for me. So they won't look at that to me as people don't maybe look at my stuff as bad because it's you eating chocolate all night. How drastic? Well, actually, it's like I say, inside it's affecting the body big time. And so that was when that pain's there, you have to make a change.
Can you remember what you were feeling when you were orange and you were on the way to hospital? You don't remember?
I just felt ill.
Yeah.
And I needed and I just thought it will pass.
So how did they save you? Like, you were half an hour away from dying.
So I was I'll say dying. It's probably more coma.
Yeah, like very serious.
Very serious. My partner got the phone call. Now, I actually didn't. When I was in hospital, I was me being me, having a laugh with the nurses.
What you were?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was having a laugh with the nurses and the doctors. I remember I had a bag of lollies in the drawer, and the doctors, because I was taking certain medications for the anxiety. I was doing things because I was flaring up and anxious. I wasn't medications. I wasn't on meds. It was probably more. I don't know. I had something in there that they had to lock, and it was a standard procedure for all patients. If they had something that people would have to take, I can't remember. I was taking something at the time, but not a prescription med. I've never ever taken prescription meds. I was diagnosed. I was given antidepressants, but I never took them.
No,
and I never will. Even if I was to go into that space again, I now feel like I know the route to come out of it, even though it would be really fucking hard. But I remember having a bag of lollies, and the doctor, I said, I've got a bag of lollies, can I just get them whenever I feel? Because, I look back and go, oh my God, he must have thought I was insane.
Well, do you reckon a nurse has ever experienced that? I don't think so.
But maybe they didn't. I don't know. Maybe they knew. Maybe they didn't know. I don't know. Do they have the knowledge that I with the cell and understanding the cells like I do now? I don't know. But I look back now and go, "Fuck, Andy, what on earth was that doctor thinking?"
You're literally about to be in a coma.
But I didn't know.
No, you didn't know.
Because they didn't tell me. They told my partner.
Right.
So my worst experience at the hospital was I found out I was allergic to penicillin.
Which is?
So it's like an antibiotic drip. So that was to help with the sepsis.
Oh,
I think. And I felt really hot up here. I was like, and I looked like, still in the pre-emergency room before you go to any rooms for the beds for the night. I'm still on a bed, but glass. So people from the, not public, but people who are coming through from the public for their next stage of treatment, going through, and I must have looked like a druggie or swear. I was scratching the living daylights out of myself. I've got images and I've got scabs everywhere all over my face, and I'm boiling up here. And I said to the doctor, "You gotta come out, I'm boiling something." Nothing's on. The heater wasn't on. The aircon wasn't on. Nothing. And they went out, and I'm like inside the room scratching it, and I come here to the glass. They run in, and they couldn't figure it out. Are you allergic to penicillin? I don't know. I'm 38 at the time. I don't know. And she said, how do you not know if you're allergic to penicillin at 38? I'm like, clearly never needed it.
Yeah.
Anyway, they changed that, and it all started to calm down after about half an hour. But honestly, that was my worst experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
Forget about everything else that...
I didn't know. I say, I just thought I was ill and they were going to fix me. So it was. I think that scenario was more traumatic for everybody else than it was, the sepsis, because I was in pain. My gallbladder was full of stones.
Really?
So that's where the sepsis, I think, had come from, because I was not eating. I don't think, because the surgeon had said, look, the damage that had happened to your gallbladder couldn't have come from the timeline of when you've been eating badly. I do, and usually with gallbladder removal, it's either people who are on drugs or alcohol or eating badly for a very long time, obviously putting the body through abuse. But none of them lined up for me, because I don't drink. I've never really been a guy who comes home and have a drink. I used to drink when I was younger. I can't imagine that affecting me 20 years later or 10 years later. So I do believe it was the chronic stress.
Wow. You mentioned earlier about good stress. What does that look like?
Eustress it's called, or acute stress. We need to put our body through struggle. That's how we build resilience. So eustress, for example, I do cold plunges. Yeah. That's stress on the body now. Yeah. It never used to be stress on the body, because that's all we had as humans hundreds of thousands of years ago. But now we've invented heating, warm showers.
And this is comfortable environments.
Death by comfort.
Yep.
I interviewed a neuroscientist with a book called Death by Comfort. And, hardiness. He wrote another book called Hardiness. It's how we build resilience, is to put our body through healthy stress. For example, for me, is cold plunges. Other ones would be cardio work. Put your body through strength training or running, or that's good stress.
The thing is that ages ago, however many years ago, when, before all this comfort by death you were talking about, going into ice baths and doing all this, that would have been normal.
Well, I mean, maybe, again, times of the year would have played a part. Ice baths, you didn't probably have ice, but the water would have been naturally cold.
Yeah. And they would have got used to that?
But they wouldn't have known any different, would they?
So, and then they come to now, and now it's a thing where it's like, well, barely, not a lot of people do it, I'd say, because everyone's used to this comfort.
Well, it's become a bit of a trend, hasn't it, over the last few years, to go and do ice baths, Wim Hof, or in the cold water and stuff like that. But again, it's not new. No. Wim Hof will tell you, humans were doing it for millions of years.
Yeah.
They would be bathing or in the cold water. They might have had hot troughs, a hot water somewhere. You go to New Zealand, you've got those hot water areas. I'm sure that was there then. And volcanoes, we still had heat, you still had summer periods. So the water was warm, but we didn't have clothes millions of years ago.
Didn't have cooling.
We didn't have cooling. It would have already been cold. Evolution has taken its part. We've lost our hair. You can see that. We've evolutionized with our clothes. We've lost the tail. Homo sapiens came out and went away from what we were. I think there's 7 stages of the human. I can't pronounce all the names, but there's 7. I think there's 4 or 5, 6. I can't remember the exact. So around 5 or 6 stages of human species, and how we appear today is completely different to how we used to appear.
So when we're going back to this coma situation when you got better, what was the stages after when you get better? What led you? So that was the reason why you decided to take on, I guess, your podcast and other things.
Before the podcast, it was the book.
It was the book first.
Yeah. So
you finished, you got better, and then is it the book immediately that you want to write?
Kind of. So the book actually came the idea came before. When I was working at the school, the school that we'd build in, I'd be sitting in the car park talking to a former basketball mentor, Mike Nichols. I created the book with him, How to Lead with Purpose. He is one of my former basketball coaches from the UK, and he was once at one point the best defensive guard in the UK. He's still a very good friend. We talk all the time, even still to this day. And we made a joke because he's already a best-selling author before that on NLP, neuro-linguistics training and all that programming. And I made a joke saying, God, we could write a book about this. Because by this point, it's not just the bullying, it's also this new toxic workplace. And I'm dreading the minutes, I'm counting the minutes, I'm in the car park. Sometimes I do some breath work before going in to prepare. Nobody even knows this. No. I've not even said this to anybody. Driving home, I've got 12 minutes till I get to work. I've got 5 minutes, I'm at the junction. It's stage by stage every single day. Right, that's one lesson done. I've only got 4 more to go. Lunch, where do I have lunch today? Do I want to be around? It's a constant. It's a small place because we built a school. There's only 30 kids, right? And I'm not here to defame the school because I love the school. I love the people who created it. I wish the school well. It's just that for me, it was there was a person that we just didn't vibe with, and they're in a position to make it not great for me. I'm not in a position to make it bad for them.
Yes,
I suppose I could, but I'm not that type of person. So you question the book. Sorry, I kind of went off. Made a joke saying, could you write a book about this? And he went, well, why don't we? And I'm not a writer. So people always used to say, write your journey down. And I was like, nah, that's girly. No offense to the girl. That's girly. I'm not writing. I'm an emotional dude. I've always vented to people. But venting to people every day releases the undesired emotions. But when you go to sleep, the next day starts again. You need to release those undesired emotions. You need to vent again. It's great to vent. Keep venting. But it doesn't change anything. You have to make a change. You have to do something. You need a catalyst to change your purpose. When you have a purpose, you can start to learn to take the memory out of the emotion out of the memory. So memory and emotion with the trauma memory and emotion can be traumatic. But if you can learn to take the emotion out of the memory out of the emotion out of the memory, it becomes wisdom, right? So over time, I wrote my journey down. So chapter 1 was a collection of stories of toxic workplace environments from around the world. I think we got something like 25 stories. Chapter 1. Chapter 2, personal development, intertwined for those scenarios. And then chapter 3 was the human side of leadership. So I thought, I want to help leaders become good leaders because I want them to understand the impact on the people's lives that they lead, hence connecting to my journey, right? So that was the book. Therapeutic, cathartic. I was like, that was so powerful. How powerful it is for people to share stories. I think you can see the link now to the podcast.
Definitely.
So I thought, how can I have these conversations if I don't know the root causes of mental health decline? Start studying the brain, start studying human physiology. I loved the brain. I thought I started with sleep. Then I'd come across words about the brain that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
So I put the pause on sleep book on pause, go and get a brain book to learn about the brain. So I can go back and understand that at a deeper level. And then you can see the puzzles
coming together.
I need to learn about cells now. I need to learn about hormones. I'm not an expert, but I'm learning parts. And then I start to interview these experts. I'm like, fuck, this is brilliant. Because I can have all these conversations, these deep conversations with them. Now, I'm not on the podcast to advise people, but I can have intelligent conversations around that area, back and forth. And if they want to advise, because they're in a position to potentially advise, some of the doctors, some are neuroscientists, some are professors, some of them are Alzheimer's experts, some of them are cancer experts. And I can go back and forth with them.
Learn from it along the way.
Absolutely. And I'm learning so much, not only from the textbooks, from these experts in front of me. But it didn't start off like that. I sat on the domain name, leadinourownway.com for a while. I got the Instagram pages. My friend who got sent the mic to me, I met her on a plane to New York when I went to watch Michael Jordan. This beautiful connection from Michael Jordan and my basketball world. I met this woman called Erin. She's beautiful. Everyone used to say, you're the type of guy that meets someone on a plane and gets invited to their wedding. Me and my partner would look at each other and go, that's happened. So Erin was freaking out because she was supposed to fly on 9/11.
Wow. Back
to New York from England. So obviously she didn't because of 9/11. She flew 3 months later because she was so quite nervous. Bless her. I hope she doesn't mind me saying it if she listens to this. She's in Portland now, but she used to be in New York. I used to go to New York a lot because from Manchester it's only a 6-hour flight. Go to New York all the time, been like 20 times, and we catch up. Met her and her husband Sam, wasn't a husband at the time, got invited to their wedding in Spain, 2011.
Wow.
We've been friends ever since, and ever since 2001, sorry. And she's in broadcasting, so she helped me with the name, the acronym LOOW, and she used to text me saying LOOW. I was like, Erin, what's LOOW? She went, that's the acronym to your podcast. I'm like, oh God, yeah. So that's why that's on. So there's all deep stories behind all of the logo and why that exists. So I sat on the domain name for seriously like a year and a half. I was sat on my couch and I got a summary from GoDaddy, the website thing,
I do.
Saying update your summary and do you want to check it out? Because I bought it a year ago. It was coming to the annual. I was like, fuck, why don't I build it? That night I went and built the website.
Wow.
It looks how it is now. Whether it's great or not, it looks pretty much the same as it did when I started out. I never built a website. Everything I've learned, I'm not creative. And I do believe if I hadn't started to change my way in putting the right things into my body, focusing on my sleep, my movement, my exercise, my purpose, I wouldn't have been creative. The old Andy wouldn't have been creative. It just shows you what you can do. You can make wonders happen if you change your mental health state by putting the right nutrients into the body, having purpose, connection, contribution to the world. All these things can make wonders. And so, I sat on it for a year and it was time. And I interviewed my first friend, an arm wrestler, commentator. And he was running around Australia for cancer. He lost people to cancer. His wife, he proposed to his wife at the end of the run. Channel 7 was there. I was there. And then the dates fell and online and his wife got cancer. Fortunately didn't die, nearly died, minutes away from dying.
My goodness.
Told them never have kids. They've got 2. He left his job and became the #1 arm wrestling commentator in the world. What better place to start?
What better place to start?
I interviewed a famous drummer that I knew as a kid. Didn't know he was a famous drummer until I was 20. He was just my friend. He was my basketball coach. Found out I was a drummer. He was my next. I filmed him first, but he was my #2 episode. And that he's on the front of my car. Jake is as well, Don, and it's just incredible. These people I've met because I'm talkative, because I can connect, traveled the world. I've met incredible people with incredible lives, and then that's when these other people started to come in to the podcast.
You must be proud of what you've been able to build.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of it.
Because people that listen to will learn, just as much as you do when you're speaking.
If nobody else listens... I do.
Yeah.
And I learn.
And you learn.
And I'm okay with that. If I can, the philosophy was if I could help one person, brilliant. But I know it's helping more than one person. So my mindset now is I want to help 1 million people. In order to do that, yes, I do need to do it full time. I do spend full time hours on it, but I still, it doesn't bring me an income. So I think if you use money as your target, that's when you burn out. That's when your burnout happens again, right? Chronic stress, because you're not receiving it when you want it. And then you'll burn out, and then the need isn't met. You can't help people, you quit. So money's not a thing for me. It is a thing in terms of living and achieving the goal. But I think if I just stay on line with my purpose, all that will happen.
Yeah.
When it's meant to happen, it will happen. I believe that. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find the innate kind of body is very fascinating and how the brain works. And obviously you've spent a lot of time like researching and finding out all these different facts. What would you say is like the most fascinating thing about how the brain works or how humans connect?
We can trick it and it can trick us.
Yeah.
It's a powerful machine.
Yeah.
We can trick the brain. I mean, look at VR sets. If you put a VR set on and go on YouTube and watch funny clips, you can see people jumping into walls, throwing things at the TV. Would you do that if you didn't have the VR set on? No. You'd be wasting a lot of money.
Yeah.
Your parents would freak out. Or you'd be devastated that you've lost your 50-inch, 60, 70-inch TV. Therefore, the brain can be tricked. You know, one of my guests said to me, before you wake up in the morning, before you consciously come awake, it looks crazy, but smile at yourself. If you heard my speech at the event that you came to, that's what I actually said, And I shared that piece of gem with the world. And I was like, just smile before you do anything. That 0.1% time of your day costs nothing. That smile. The brain knows you're smiling. It doesn't know what you're smiling at. So smile.
Yeah.
You could change the trajectory of your day. If you're changing the trajectory of your day, you could change the trajectory of your week, which means that it could change your month and your year and your life. And I think that's... So that for me, tricking the brain or being tricked, and then you've got to understand obviously the layers behind it then with memory and focus and retention and clarity. And I try and teach the kids that because kids don't learn about the brain. For me, the brain is the source of everything. There's actually a book called The Source. It's around the brain, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Dr. Tara Swart.
And then you've created this podcast. Obviously, you said you met the first 2 episodes were people that you knew and they had amazing stories. From there, how many episodes have you done right now?
I filmed 102, but I've published 89.
Okay. And obviously, you're continuing on. What would be, out of all those, the most fascinating story?
They're all fascinating.
Yeah.
I get that question a lot. They're all fascinating in their own different way. I cannot pin one guest.
Yeah. So you've covered cancer specialists. What else? Who else?
I've interviewed an Alzheimer expert.
Yeah.
I've interviewed cancer experts, people who have suffered with cancer personally, who've learnt their own journey of what they went through. But for example, I interviewed Bridget Hancock, the author of a book called Live Like a Lobster. It's all about avoiding disease and confronting cancer at a cellular level. Athletes and their own journey, why they became athletes. There's always a story, right? I do believe everyone's got a journey. Neuroscientists, spine experts, doctors, teachers who have been through something, why they got into teaching, domestic violence, personal development authors, mental health advocates, thought leaders, a lot of business leaders too come my way. I've got a few coming up. I'm interviewing Principal of the Year next week, Stephen Trotter, so it'll be quite nice, of Australia. Just anyone. The spectrum goes from left to right completely. It's amazing.
Yeah, and the whole entire, I guess it fits with every audience. You know, the wider the variety, the wider...
It does, but that doesn't help you with the algorithm.
No.
Because my niche might be mental health, but where does mental health stop and start? It's so big. And I think that's probably why... Look, the podcast, as you mentioned before, top 10%, but I think if I was to niche it down even further and tighter, maybe it would be further, maybe bigger than it is.
What has podcasting taught you about the people and how... I guess they respond to situations, and because I'm assuming the majority of the people you've interviewed been through struggles mentally.
90% of them have. Yeah. There's a few just purely good stories in there. Well, they're all good stories, aren't they? Right? They're all good journeys. There's a few who have had just a pure, beautiful life, but it's about how they lead their own way. And I always say, we all see the same thing. Us in here in the studio and yourself, we're all seeing the same thing right now, but we're all perceiving it and looking at it differently, which means we're all leading our own way. You're leading your own way. We could live the same life, but you'd still lead in your own way. And I think that's something I've learned, is that we all respond differently to things. I think it's understanding our bodies at a much deeper level. If we can understand our gene expression, we can all understand then what we might be more predisposed to. You and I could experience the same car accident, but you could walk out going, "Oh, that was a bad day." I could walk out going into deep depression, and that's based on my physiology and what genes are switched on and switched off. So I think if we learn about the brain and our bodies at a much deeper level, I think then we can prepare ourselves better. But we're not there. We're just not there yet. And I think that will become clearer. I'm learning that from the experts, though. Right? I'm not the expert on that. I'm learning that from the experts in the books. But I think if we prepare ourselves mentally better and physically, things will inevitably go wrong. You guys will experience something negative in your life, whether it's breakup, financial, death. You're going to experience something. And it's not that I want you to just go, move on. It's not about that. It's about just preparing for these. But unfortunately, I think what I have learned is choices all comes about. Every guest, it's all about choices. We're making choices. We have the choice to get up and be positive, whether we're going something bad, or we can choose to sit in it. I chose to sit in that victim mentality for a long time. But when I almost died, it wasn't a choice anymore. Well, it was, but the other way.
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to it, I think choices, and we all react differently based on the expression of how we live our lives.
And when you interview people who've had these different struggles, how do you, I guess, create a space that's open and makes them, like, allows them to feel comfortable with sharing? Because it's certainly very personal.
Absolutely, being vulnerable myself.
Yeah.
If you and a pre-chat, I always do a pre-chat with people, and the reason why I do a pre-chat is because I want people to feel that it's just two mates having a conversation. That's the connection, isn't it? And I love that. But I interview people all around the world, though, so I can't do this. This for me is connection as well. But I have a studio. I don't have the funds to go and hire a place. You know, these places are expensive, and you know, it's incredible what these guys do. If I could do that, I really, really would. But some of the people I interview, some of the experts, I don't have the ability to fly them in, so I have to interview them online. But but creating that safe space is really important.
Yeah. And with, I guess, people feeling, I mean, you gave advice with people going through struggles and how they get through it. Is it certainly an individual thing, or when you said choices and everything, that can tie into any situation? Would you agree with that? Yeah,
for sure. But your first part, what was the first part you said?
Well, so like if someone's going through a certain situation, is it up to, I don't know how to word this, but like the advice that you'd give to someone who goes through a situation personally would be different to someone else?
I guess, but I'm very aware of not giving advice.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in this world. We need qualifications to give advice. You can get yourself into a bit of trouble. So I'm very, very, very aware of giving advice. I probably hold space and listen to them.
Yeah.
Like I've stopped asking my friends, "Are you okay?" Again, the same guest said to me, "Ask people who you're close to, where's your mental health on a scale of 0 to 10." They have to give you a different answer. They can't avoid it. Whereas if I say, "Are you okay?" you're going to go, "Yeah, I'm good."
Yeah.
Even if you're not.
Yeah.
Right, so
it's an avoidable question.
It is, and not necessarily that they're doing it on purpose. They just want to move on to why you're together, or maybe, and go for a walk, or what it is you're doing. So advice would be different if I was in that position to give it, but I think with people, is probably hold that space and hear them. And I think if they're feeling heard, that's the beginning to building that bridge of connection, which creates them that safe space. But also you being yourself is real. Right, that word authenticity is being thrown around a lot now, but I do believe in it. And being authentic is telling the truth, but believing in the truth. Some people tell the truth, but might not believe it. It's, you know what I mean? They might not like it. So how are we being authentic then? I don't know. Yeah.
And if someone's wanting to, I guess, lead their own way, and produce a change in their life, what's one small step that you'd start with? Again,
it goes back to maybe where they're at. If let's say they're struggling to get out of bed, I wouldn't say go and jump in the cold shower straight away. I'd say, mate, just
smile.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, smile. You're right. Back to my advice before, smile. Just force if you can, and then that might lead to putting 2 feet on the floor, and standing up. And the next day, it might mean you walk to the corridor in your house and go and stand in the sun. The morning sun is so powerful. You know, that changes everything. If you walk in the morning, your day can change. Or go and have a shower. Just those, again, that language of 1%. Go and change 1% of your day. 1% of your day is 14 minutes. Do something for yourself for 14 minutes. It'll change you. Yeah.
When people listen to your podcast, what do you hope they take away from it or feel after listening?
I want them to take gems away from our conversation and put it where they feel fit. That's why I love interviewing so many range of people, because 10 episodes might not actually work for them. But they could. And if they can just take one tiny incremental piece of advice or point of view and put it into their life, that could change everything, even if it changes them a month later. That's what I hope they take. But I also want them to see the power in making choices in the guest that they see the darkness that guest has been through, if it is darkness, but also just understanding if they sometimes we don't look back where we made decisions in the past. Childhood, some of them I guess have had a beautiful life, but we still touch on childhood because it paints a picture of why certain decisions were made down the track, whether it was relationship, career choices, sports, how they became a basketball player and played for Chicago Bulls. Josh Giddey's dad, Josh, and he explained about Josh being a basketball player. Josh didn't go through anything drastic but in his mind he might do. If we used to sit down with Josh, he might have struggled with his dad shouting at him. I've not got that side of the story.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from? Yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, I hope that's what people get.
Yeah.
Is to see that everyone's got a completely different journey, but also the people that you're with in your family and your work, they might have something going on for them. So treat people with kindness, treat people with respect. You don't know what they're going through.
What helped you through your hardest moments the most?
Even though my partner didn't feel like she could help me because she would cry to her mum, not knowing how to help. Obviously, her sticking by me and not just leaving me because I was not present, because it could have come across as not an arsehole. I wasn't an arsehole, but just was a shell of a man that I was before. My dog, Flossie, she's my best friend. She's still with us. She's 12, but she's been through all of that hard time.
And dogs would know as well.
Sure, she knew. She used to lay with me. She used to lay with me. But me getting out to the dog park without her realising, she's a border collie. She needs exercising every day, twice a day still. She's an energetic thing still. And going to that dog park, going back to that venting, I would vent to strangers. Whereas most people, guys, don't talk.
No.
I did, and I do. But it didn't fix me because I keep repeating that pattern every day.
Would people be the key to going through situations, like talking to people?
Like I say,
is that the most important?
It is really helpful, but I did feel, here we go again.
Yeah, you're saying the same thing, I guess, going to the same routine.
Yeah, and I could feel the energy from people, eyes rolling, and he's over-exaggerating. I had messages from people who were close to me going, man up.
That's
Never
hard.
tell somebody to man up.
No.
That was a fucking difficult time for me. I'm not saying those haven't been through things. But I reflect on the jobs that they have. Those people who told me those things had jobs where they would see horrible things on a daily basis. Right?
Right.
I think you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
So I put it down to that. But my advice to them is you don't know what I was going through. Yeah, if you're not processing what you're seeing every day, it will hit you one day. Whether it's somebody else dying down the track, it will hit you one day if you're not looking after yourself. But yeah, so that people are key, but I think the source of it has to come within you.
Yeah, that's the top.
I think so.
Yeah, and making decisions, is that it? Choices.
Yeah, you can have inspiration, absolutely, but I could give you all the inspiration in the world. I could give you all the podcast episodes in the world. If you're only willing to listen to them
and do nothing about it, then it doesn't change anything.
Doesn't. Pain of staying the same is great. When the change only occurs when pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of making a change. That's it.
Love it.
I think that's the piece to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a rapid fire questions
I'm nervous.
Have you had one of these before? Probably.
Kind of.
Well, I don't know.
But it was around leadership. That one. That was nerve wracking.
Well, you shouldn't be nerve wracking for this because it's somewhat serious, somewhat stupid. So I don't know if you've had, or anyone really has had a rapid fire like this.
Let's do it.
So, Andrew White, first car.
Ooh. You won't know what it is. Vauxhall Nova. That's your Holden.
Right. In England.
Called Vauxhall Nova.
What's the logo? Is it
It's different to yours, but it's part of the same group.
Right.
What was Holden under? GM? You won't know, would you?
GM.
How old are you guys?
18.
Yeah, exactly. What's your Holdens under? There's a group that's under, because in Germany is something else.
Well, I know they're not making them in Australia anymore.
No, that's right. Yeah, so in England they're called Vauxhall. Under that GM group, it was called Vauxhall, and I had a Scally, what we call like a bogan. You call it bogan. For me, it's a Scally. Scally white car. Everyone windows down, boom boxes.
Is it like a cop magnet?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, so like if you're driving, a cop sees you and they want to pull you over.
Could be, based on if you had rims on it and booming
Because
music.
the Holdens down here kind of are. If you get
Yeah, they do.
like a
You're right.
Commodore,
Yeah, I see
something
them.
like that.
Yeah.
Well, you've kind of actually put this one in. You've kind of already answered it.
Oh, go on.
You're very favorite episode, but that's going to be you can't really say.
It's quite detrimental to everybody else, isn't it?
or was there? Let's rephrase it and say something. What episode did you learn most from?
Oh, again, right? I learn on every single episode,
Yeah.
but it's just different knowledge.
Do we just leave that one out? Maybe?
I don't know. I've re-angled it before now, and I've forgotten how I've done it. Well, we'll think about it. We'll come back to it.
We
Yeah.
might go back. Best advice you've received?
Man, ones I've shared with you today about the smile, the scale of 1 to 10. Where's your mental health on a scale of 1 to... That's my current thing right now that I'm actually asking my guests when we start. It's probably just a phase until something else comes along, but that for sure.
Worst advice you've received?
Man up.
Favorite vegetable?
Broccoli.
Favourite-
Purple broccoli, that's better for
Which
you.
one?
Purple broccoli. It's hard to find.
Purple broccoli.
Better than the green broccoli.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's better at...
Where do you find it?
That's what I mean. I don't know.
On the black market.
But I just know it's better. Yeah, I think you could go to the health stores. You could probably get the purple broccoli there.
Better.
Yeah.
Well, do you know how?
I think it's the antioxidants in the purple. If you go for dark skin, food like blueberries over strawberries, for example.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Ah, it's
Better.
like your blackberries, your blueberries.
Yeah. So strawberries is still good for you.
Yeah.
But your blueberries, the pigment in there is better antioxidant, seeps better into the brain, will help your mitochondria function better and be more oxygenated. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Favorite animal? Favorite animal?
Flossie, my dog.
Favorite color?
Sky blue.
Sky blue. Mm-hmm. You're going out for dinner. What cuisine and what are we ordering?
Thai. I love Thai. And it's called the chicken gayang. It's like sweet and sour chicken type thing. Yeah,
that's good.
I love the chicken satay as well.
Yep. Favorite sport to watch?
Basketball.
Yep, knew it. And you're a point guard. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I do enjoy watching basketball, but I hate the stop and start of basketball.
Oh, you got like 10 seconds left and it'll drag on for half an hour.
I hate that. If it's in a game and there's a 2-point game and I don't mind the anticipation around that, but the constant timeouts and the adverts and all that, I'd rather watch the snippet done in 30 minutes where all that's chopped out. Yeah. Playing though is completely different. I don't care for the stop and start there. But so when Manchester United, my team from Manchester, were doing really well, loved it. Yeah, I could watch football, soccer. Yeah. But my football, I could watch my football, Man United. I used to get up for it, but now they're dreadful.
Are you into cricket?
Rather watch paint dry. Sorry.
Well, you probably
sorry
knew
if you
England,
guys like cricket.
You probably knew that England got.
I didn't, but I asked. You guys get the smallest trophy. What's that about?
4-1. Yeah, I know. What last one? Now this is actually a deep question.
Go on.
Not again.
Oh, it's happening. Oh,
at the end.
At least it's at the end.
What is success?
Being content. You have to hold it down now.
Yeah.
Being content. I live my life by the 4 C's. I'm glad that question came up. Success, obviously. People say happy. For me, happiness is a long-term state, and it takes 3 things to be happy. For me, understanding your purpose, enjoying the things you do, and being satisfied when they're over. That's happiness for me. People link happiness as an emotion, and I don't think happiness is. I think there's pleasure and all of those and enjoyment, and they're all emotions. But and the neuroscience institute looked at happiness as an emotion. So I think differently to him. It's not necessarily right or wrong, but it's not a survival emotion in my eyes. But contentment, I heard scientists talk about the 4 C's of contentment, and I've started to angle that around myself. So I'll tell you very quick, because I know you probably want to stop. But the first C is connection. So connecting with people around you, having a good connection with people. My connection was all off. I used to want to be friends with everybody. I've learned just connect with the people that who like the guests and my family and close friends. Second C is contribution. Give to the world. Your podcast is contributing to the world in some shape or form. Mine too. Third C is cope. So under cope, sleep, mindfulness, and exercise. And then the 4th C is cook. So eating whole foods. I don't get me wrong, I love my McDonald's here and there, but I've learned to not have that as my food. It's not food. It's a pleasure hit.
Plastic.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. It's plastic. It's full of sugar. It's full of crap. And I think me changing my food drastically changed how my brain worked, which meant I became content. I was content. I'm content. I still have struggles. I've said the 3 things that happened to this week. Me and my partner have struggles here and there. Our kids stress us out. We have the same struggles as everybody, but I feel like we can handle them better, even though they're still. I can feel like that it doesn't have to go drastically.
But it must be crucial that that people can handle it, because if they don't, then
they will go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's hard.
Well, one final thing. So where can people find you? Where can people find the podcast?
Yeah. Well, we're on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Leading Our Own Way is the name. I think you can actually type in LWW now.
Yep.
I actually
the acronym that you didn't know at the start is now leading.
It's there, yeah. So I wished I'd done LWW, but I think if you typed in that on Spotify, I think it actually does work. I think people have I think the algorithms kind of got used to that as well.
Being
maybe.
Typed. Yeah.
Yeah. So Leading Our Own Way, though, to be safe. I know it's long. Leading our, not the our. Own way, and it's not. Some people go leading your own way. No, it's leading our own way. But obviously on Instagram, not on Facebook at the moment because it's been taken down. But hopefully that'll be back up.
Yeah, hopefully.
I don't have many followers on that, so like 400. It's not much. But yeah, all of that Spotify. But if you want to listen to the episodes, go to the actual platforms.
Yes.
Don't even go to the social media.
No.
I'm not bothered about that.
Yeah.
Get to the episodes.
Listen to the episodes. That's where you find. That's where you learn.
Yeah. And if anyone wants to email me, andrew@leadingourownway.com. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, Andrew.
Mate, anything. I say Andrew to be professional, but Andy, if you're my mate.
They call you Whitey?
My PE teacher called me Whitey at school. Yeah, so that's why, because of him, when I'm at schools, I actually give the kids fake names.
Yeah.
But like connected to their name.
Oh, that's good.
Like Noah.
Yeah.
Hey, No. Come on, No. Sit down, No.
Well, I've never been called that. I only get called Jonesy.
Oh, there you go.
Jones.
Yeah, that would work too.
No could work, but
yeah. But some people can be offended now if you change the names.
Oh, yeah.
For me, it's a form of connection again, right?
Yeah, I know. It's a whole different thing.
World.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
So it feels sorry for you guys.
Yeah.
You're young. You're growing up in that world.
Well, yeah. What about the next generation?
That's another podcast episode.
Oh, goodness me. We could talk about
You guys are doing a great job, though.
Oh, thank you.
The Noah Jones. So that's brilliant.
Yep. Cheers. You are as well. Well, you've already built something and you're continuing to, so congratulations.
You keep thriving, keep doing what you're doing, keep the passion. And
I'll be keeping this. The best coffee coming out of this mug.
I hope so. And I'll bring one for you as well. I didn't know there was 2 of you here. You can share it, whichever.
Well, yeah, we can share it. It's a bit intimate. Thanks, Andy. Thanks heaps, mate.
Great job, Noah.
We'll see you around. Cheers.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, mate.
Pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Noah Jones Show. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and follow along for more amazing stories. See you next time.